Hi, everybody. So the guest speaker today, of course, that we all know is Kristen Clark, and we love her.
Hi.
So hello, thank you for being back. We love you so
I love
much.
you guys.
And and I feel like when you talk, you just have so much energy and so much passion. And I personally just resonate with a lot that what you say. Without further ado, I will allow Kristen to go ahead and start her process. And I'll see you in a little bit.
Cool. So, hey guys. So we were talking about what to do for tonight, and I was saying Q&A, and then Kelly wanted Q&A. So see how things work. Anyway, and part of the reason I love the Q&A is because I feel like we're really moving beyond the time of seeking answers from Abraham, seeking answers from Bashar, seeking answers from seek. I really feel like it's time to move beyond the seeking and start standing by what you're hearing. And I was talking about this last time about how you guys, it's so vital to stand by what's going on in your mind. So many of us, we were kind of taught, I guess, from the time we were little that you need to go ask that person. If you have a question, it was like, yeah, go ask your dad. Or, it's like you sought your answers out from somebody who knew better than you, who had more experience than you, teachers and doctors and on and on and on and on. And that was fine. That was part of that time. But now it's really vital to kind of go back to who we are, the light being that we are, and standing by these little thoughts, these little things you hear going on inside your head. You ask yourself a question, you hear an answer, and you're thinking, is that right? Oh, right there. Don't do that. What you need to do is stand by that aspect of you that just peeked up with a little answer for you, and listen to it, because source, or God, or all that is, or your inner being, or your lights up, whatever you want to call it. There's so many names, but the higher aspect of you, and when I say higher, don't go into hierarchy, guys. The higher is just that it has a broader perspective of what's going on around you. Source is omnipresent. So what that means is that, and most of you I'm sure know, but I like using big words sometimes because it's fun, especially when they're whispered in my ear and I'm like, omnipresent. Ooh, gotta Google that one. Omnipresent means that being in multiple places all at once, or in everything. Okay, so think about this. Source is in everything. Everything. The air molecules you're sucking in right now, the screen you're looking at, your cat, your dog, the cells that make up your cat and dog, the atoms, everything, everywhere, source is within that. And that includes you. So every little cell, every little atom, every little energy molecule that makes up you is source. And so you are source. See how there's no separation. So that means your thoughts are source. So how can they be wrong? Oh, do you see that little light bulb go pink right above your head? So your thoughts are never wrong. It's always right there, source whispering in your ears. And I know you guys are all like scratching around right now thinking, there's got to be a reason why, but wait a minute, I had this thought and it was wrong. No. Your thoughts are never, ever, ever wrong. It may be an experience of a certain situation that source has desired to have, and it's your honor to do that for source, to have that experience for source, so source can expand. Source expands through all your feelings, your emotions, your desires. Your expansion equals everything's expansion, the entire universe and everything within it. You're pretty amazing like that. You got time to own it, time to step up to knowing that every little thought that's in your mind is source. That is source wielding the clay with you. And so number one, you're never alone. But number two, this really helps you to understand that there's nothing I'm doing that you can't do. There's nothing Kelly's doing that you can't do. You just got to get the hell out of your way, right? You got to get the heck out of your way when you're with your doubts and your worries and your fears and your concerns. So that being started right there, Nancy, hi Nancy. How do you know it is source that speaks and not the ego? Excellent question. If source is in everything, right? That means the ego is source. Oh, so you start thinking about it. See, we're so good at separating ego bad, me good, subconscious bad, and we have all these classifications and these little boxes we put things in, and this is bad and this is good. And even to this day, we still have spiritual people telling you that the ego this and the ego that. The saying ego, saying subconscious, all of those, that is a cop-out from owning every action you've ever done. It is so easy for us to say, oh, well, that was my ego that did that. No, darling, it was you. There is no separation. We talked about this before in one of the previous things. We perceive a separation, like you're perceiving a separation right now between yourself and that screen. There is no separation. There's no separation between you and source. And there is no separation between you and your spirit guides and your angelics and your non-physical family and friends, all of it. There is no separation. The ego was a very convenient label to not own up to who you are 100%. You are everything. You are the anger. You are the joy. You are the rage. You are the bliss. You are, as I've said before, the murderer, the rapist, Mother Teresa, the saint. You are it all. It is all inside of you. It is all you. So when you realize that there is no separation, it's kind of like saying the wave is not part of the ocean. There is no ego. It was just a label that we loved to use to, again, kind of give you a bit of a escapism from certain behaviors. And no, you are everything. And think of it like this. Every emotion you could possibly have, every emotion, take the whole huge list. If you've ever Googled emotions, there's a whole lot, way more than you could even think of. There's a lot of emotions out there. And think of them like little puzzle pieces that make up you. And you're just this giant puzzle. And each puzzle piece has a label. One says irritation. One says frustration. One says happy. One says joy. One says depression. One says grievance. They're all there. And they're all you. And it's not like, oh, there's this over here and there's that over there. They're all you and they're all part of you. And you are so perfect. You are so absolutely perfect that every single one of these emotions is absolutely perfect too. There is no hierarchy. There is no, oh, these vibrations vibrate at this lower frequencies and these ones vibrate at the higher frequencies. So they're better, they're positive, and these ones are negative. And we were taught this because it was vital. For those of you that love Abraham, that was a very important stepping stone for us to get to where we are now, which is a much more loving, accepting society. I mean, minds are way more open. If Abraham was to truly talk about all they really know, Esther would have probably about 10 fans because it's so vast and so deep. But they keep it down to what I call the kindergarten level, because it's if you've ever listened to Abraham, you tend to notice it's the same thing over and over and over and over. It's the vortex in your vibration and focus wheels and staying positive and all of that. And that was really vital and important to, I mean, look at how many people were at her first meetings. I mean, she did have very small meetings because, hello, this is a person channeling another being. Society wasn't really open to that kind of thing. And now, holy cow, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And she's doing these every month, and they're doing, sellout cruises months in advance. And here's these so many people from around the world coming to listen to a human being channeling another being. Hello? That's huge. That is huge, because 20 years ago, yeah, you were seen as a bit of a sideshow, freak show, that kind of thing. So anyway, it was very important to kind of create a separation of ego and subconscious, and these are negative emotions and these are positive emotions, and you want to focus on the positive. And we are moving beyond that, guys. That was, I said kindergarten, but let's make it fourth grade. That was fourth grade, and we're moving into fifth grade. And what fifth grade is you understanding that everything is you. And the easiest and best way that you can move through anything, be it debt, be it relationship issues, be it anything, is allow. Allow is the key. That is the key of everything. When you can just allow, which is scary as hell. So scary to just allow, because you feel like, oh gosh, if I allow anger to stay, it's going to stay. It's not going to go away. But no, through your allowance. Okay, so let me give you guys an example. Yesterday, I went to the store, Thanksgiving time, major buying time, and, got all my groceries and everything. And I get a little thing on my phone that tells me if I'm overdrawn. And I got a little thing going, bing, you're $40 overdrawn. I'm like, what? What? Where? Wow, how? Who's that? And and immediately I heard allow. And I'm thinking, okay, so here's an experience of debt, of overdrawn, of negative balance that I didn't want to have, but apparently Source wanted to have it. So, okay, so we're going to allow. And so I went to the bank, and I happened to have $20 cash, so I threw that in there. And there was that part of me that's like, I don't want money. And there's a part over here going, listen, you got two choices. You can freak out, or you can just allow it. Either way, you're going to come to the same in your mind, in the physical world, you're going to come to the same situation, which is get in my car, drive home, and put the groceries away. And, I can either be freaking out, or I can just be going, you know what? I'm going to just allow this. I'm just going to allow this with trust and faith that Source, my inner being, whatever, knows exactly what it's doing. See, we are such control freaks. We are the control freaks. We've talked about this before. Personal trainer, big control freak here. And for me to release that control, that, oh my God, I've got to figure out how I'm going to get this money, because now I'm going to get you're going to have that $35 charge for having all these thoughts going in my mind. And I was talking to the lady at the bank. She goes, listen, you got until tonight. That charge isn't going to happen until tonight. So, and I thought, okay, that's a lot of nows between now and then. That money can come to me. And so as I was driving home, it was so funny. This piece of paper that was up in my visor got, I had the windows open, blew out, and it fell down my lap, and I picked it up, and it said, everything is working out for me. I do not know where this piece of paper came from. That was not my writing on it. But I was like, oh my God. And that's an Abraham thing, everything is always working out for me. And I was going, oh my God, okay. And right on the cusp of that piece of paper falling in my lap, I was thinking, I'm just going to allow. I'm going to allow whatever happens, happen. I got home, and this is on total allowance. I got home, checked into my email. 3 people donated to me. 3 people I don't even know, because on my website I have donations available. 3 people donated to me. Groupon sent in, and anyway, within by that night I was plus $77. And guys, all I did was just allow. I got the hell out of the way. There was a situation that was happening. I allowed it to happen. I allowed myself to feel panic. I allowed myself to be, I allowed myself to go into all those emotions that used to be bad. I allowed myself to have it all. And I allowed myself to have the hope and the joy and the knowing and the feeling that, okay, this is all okay. And it turned out fine. And I never got the charge, and everything turned out okay. So you guys, this is your key. This is your key, is allowance. Allow yourself to feel a little panicky about, I don't know, Thanksgiving's coming and all these people are coming. Tell yourself, okay, I'm going to allow myself to be a little panic. Okay. It's so freeing. It's so easy. So Nancy, did that help? And if anybody else has any questions, there is no cap on tonight's questions. You guys can ask about anything. You can ask about channeling. You can ask about anything. Okay, so Valentino says, can you talk about entities that attach onto emotions, karma, that have not been cleared and put thoughts into a person? Sorry, I'm trying to read, and all this information, what happens is whomever source, whatever, starts feeding me in all this answers to your questions, and I can't even finish your questions. So if I suddenly stop in the middle of reading, that's what's happening. Okay. Because I didn't even get beyond your second line there, and they're like that have not been cleared and put thoughts into a person's head that are in a matching low vibrational state. Yes, Valentina, very good question. Number one, ain't nothing out there that can put any thoughts in your head. Nothing except you. That is one of the biggest crocs of doggy poo-poo out there, karma. There is no karma unless you choose to create it. So you are the creator of your reality. We all know this by now, right? We all know this by now. You are the creator of your reality. You choose. You want to create karma? Poof, you just did it. You're that amazing. You're that awesome. Karma does not exist in my reality. Entities that attach onto emotions. Once again, what are you creating? What are you doing with all your vast powers? And see, you've chosen, Valentino, to have this experience. So number one, allow it. Don't be like, oh man, am I right? Am I wrong? Is this good? Is this bad? Don't go there. Just allow this to be an experience and nothing more. You have had the experience of, I don't want to say believing in, but understanding that this is a possibility. But there's this part of you that's going, that's why you asked the question. Because there's this part of you going, this just doesn't feel right, because it's not necessary. It's kind of like thinking that your life is always at nighttime. And you just believe that there's no sun. You've never experienced, you didn't understand that the sun comes up and it can be light for half the day. You've always thought it was light. It's dark. It's dark. It's dark. It's dark. It's dark. And then there's a part of you that's going, there's got to be something more than this. And now you come to sunlight and you realize that, oh my gosh, half my day is in the sun and light. That was a horrible example, but it worked for me. So number one, Valentino, you choose, okay? No entities. There are no such thing as dark entities in my reality. There never have been ever since I was a little. I was Presbyterian, so I was I was raised with heaven and hell and all that, and I never believed in hell. I could never bring myself to understand it. I could never bring myself to understand demons and devils and anything that was dark. I was never afraid. I never had issues, and it's because it just isn't in my reality. And it's because I've made that conscious choice that, no, okay, I've experienced that. I've had that experience. Now I'm done with it. It's kind of like, I just don't want to watch horror movies anymore. It's that easy. It's that easy to do. So if you choose to believe in karma, that you have done something bad in a previous life, and I'm going to go into that really quick here in a minute too, and that you're having, and you drag that with you into this life, then that is something that you are creating, and you can stop creating that at any time. You can decide, I don't want that in my creation anymore. Now, I want you guys to think about time right now. Okay. Timelines. Born, die, everything that happens in between. Okay, so we've talked before about how there is no such thing as a timeline. Time is right now. This second right now. The second a minute ago doesn't exist. And the second that you think is coming doesn't exist. It's right now. And it's right now. And it's right now. Time is always right now. Your previous lives are always right now. Think of it this. I'm going to kind of take you guys a little deep here. So this means that you were just born. A nanosecond ago, you were just born. And a nanosecond ago, you just separated from your complete connection with Source by coming into this world. That was just a nanosecond ago. You have all these memories of an entire lifetime. You're creating those memories right now. It's all happening right now, right now, right now. So how can you possibly be having anything from a previous life coming forward and having to pay for it in this life when that's all happening right now? It's not possible. because that's all happening right now, right now, right now. So you think about that. So nothing has power over you, Valentino. Nothing can ever have power over you unless you give it power, unless you believe. So if you are having a hard time, what I would suggest is reaching out to the archangels. They love this, by the way. They love playing with this stuff. You don't have to know their names, but Michael, there's Michael, there's Raphael, there's Gabriel, there's Uriel, there's a bunch of ELs. They all have that little IEL at the end, or AEL at the end. And ask them to come in and help you to clear this energy of worry about karma, of worry about dark entities, to clear you of it. And in true all actuality, the earth is vibrating at a frequency these days that we can't even truly experience dark entities like we used to be able to. We used to be able to call them in. People knew how to do that. And even now, if you were like trying really hard to pull in a dark entity, you wouldn't be able to do it, because the earth and all of us are vibrating at such a high rate that those energies, they can't match. They're way down here and we're vibrating up here, and they can't match. They can't have access in. So, but you need to clear. And I don't even like saying clearing, because this is all part of you. This is who you are. But you need to help this part of you evolve, go up to the 5th grade. In the 4th grade, we believed in darkness and scary things. And in the 5th grade, we're all big kids now, and we know that there's no such thing as Santa Claus. That kind of thing. Okay? So if that didn't answer all your question, let me know. Nancy, yes, thanks. I have been anxious last couple days, and allowing is what I needed to hear. Yeah, isn't that powerful? It's so easy. It's so easy. And it's like so many of us are like, it can't be that easy. It is. And that's how you know you're on the right track, because it feels easy. And that's your complete connection. When you and source are like eye to eye on something, it feels easy. When you're thinking something and you're feeling a little icky and that's source not agreeing with you. It's not that source is going, you're wrong. It's just you may be thinking something like, oh my gosh, I was really bad in a previous life, and that's why I'm experiencing this, and it feels yucky. It just doesn't feel good. That's because source doesn't agree with you on that. Source is going, no, you've never been bad. Even if you were a rapist in a previous life, that wasn't bad. That was an experience. That was helping source expand. And it was just all love. Everything. And we talked about this on the previous one. Everything coming in is love. Through you and your perception, your special little eyes, how you want to change it, you change it from love into seeing something that you're having an experience with. It's never wrong. You're a God. You can't be wrong. It's an impossibility. It's not possible. But we've been taught since we were little that we are anything but a God. And I'm here to change that. I'm here to give you guys back your power. Okay. Janet, last time you talked about how we all have a dragon inside us. Yes. When we put our foot down about something. So is our dragon sort of our internal empowerment? Yes, very much so. Your dragon is your limitlessness. It's that part of you that instinctively knows you are a God. When we were little, and we could be anything, and we called it make-believe, but we could be anything. We could be Superman, we could be a mom, or we could be, whatever we wanted. The sky was the limit. Oh hell, way beyond the sky. There was no limit to what we could be in our imagination. You were truly creating there. When you were doing that, you were truly creating that identity. You're that amazing. But we were not supposed to know that. We were not supposed to believe that or anything. So we were taught it was make-believe, blah, blah, blah. In this day and age, your dragon isn't so much about defiance. It's not about defiance, though that is part of your dragon. Your dragon is about self first, okay? So yes, when you put your foot down about something, yes, that's self first. It is about 100% self-love. 100%. Not tolerating anything that pulls you out of your joy. And this is where allowance comes in too. So you realize that, oh, I woke up and I'm in a bit of a snit. And you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't. Oh no, Abraham tells me I'm vibrating wrong there. So now I'm going to attract bad things to me. And so there we go, down into that black hole. Now, this, I'm going to tell you, a snit is fine. You can be in a snit if you're allowing it. When you allow yourself to have that snit, that's kind of two different versions of you. Here's the snit you. Don't you like that word, snit? I love that. You know, when you're in that irritation, you don't even know why. You're just irritated and just leave me alone until I have my coffee. So you're there. And then here's this part of you that's going, oh, look at me in a snit. Okay, I'm going to allow that. I'm going to allow myself to have that experience. And the coolest thing that happens is the minute you think that, it goes away. You don't even need coffee. It just goes away. But your dragon aspect of you is so much bigger than just putting your foot down. It's any time, yes, you were standing up for yourself, but it's any time you were standing beside yourself. So like I said, you have this amazing thought and you think, you know, who am I to have a thought? I haven't been going to metaphysical school and learning about this. You don't need to. It's all in here. It's all in here. And every once in a while you have this brilliant thought and you're thinking, where'd that come from? And your dragon's going, did she really just think that again? Yes, you are amazing. And anytime you have a thought and you kind of second guess that thought, your dragon's going to go, no second guessing, young man or young lady. Your dragon is that part of you that knows that you are God, that knows that you are brilliant and always perfect and never can be anything other than perfect. Even when you're doing something that you're thinking, oh, I can't believe I did that. That was you being perfect in that moment. That was the best you could do in that moment. And that was perfect. And yes, that is the dragon aspect of you. The dragon aspect of you is, it can be defiant. It can go take a poop on your neighbor's lawn and go, so there, the guy who ticks you off. But your dragon is also that loving, knowing. It's about power. And it's not about abuse of power or I'm more powerful than you. It's not like that. It's about knowing your power. That part of you that knows you are badass and is excited to own it. But there's another part of you that's going, are you sure? I don't know. We didn't read that anywhere. Where would you come up with that idea? I don't know. You know, there's that part of you. So yes, your dragon is emerging, whether you like it or not. And your more things are going to come to you, like that piece of paper floating down into my lap that says everything's always working out for me. It's like gift from the dragons, gift from the gods. And you know, it is always there for you. So let me know if that didn't answer your question. Edgar, hi. I still battle with allowing sadness when dealing with loneliness and depression, heartache and pain. Makes me feel alive. Yes, Edgar. A lot of people need to bleed to know they're alive. That's a very common thing. Although my thoughts help me come up, always with a conclusion that everything with me and around me is well, still a bit challenging for me. Suggestions. Truly allowing. There's a part of you that's not allowing. There's a part of you that's judging this depression, this heartache, all of these. It's judging them as bad instead of. So what I would do, Edgar, is the next time lonely Edgar raises its head, take lonely Edgar, sit him down on a chair across from you and say, okay, go. What do you need to say? Don't engage with lonely Edgar. Sit back and observe. Be the ears. Tell lonely Edgar, I'm listening. I'm listening. So see how that creates a separation. And because remember, this is just an emotion. You're making this emotion huge when it's just a little puzzle piece. So you let lonely Edgar have his say and you say, okay. And that's it. Your job is not to fix. See, this is what happens. We have these emotions that have been deemed ever since we were little bad, such as depression, such as frustration, such as heartache, such as loneliness. That's no fun. And already right there, you said dealing with. These emotions don't want to be dealt with. They want to be seen. They want to be acknowledged that they exist. They want to know that they're just as important as joy, happiness, feeling good. So you do that by listening and allowing them to have their say. It's scary as hell because we think if we let loneliness sit down, it may never get up and go away again. But trust me, all of these aspects of you are, I'm going to back up a second here. I talked about last time about how you were this huge light being. You were this giant light being, but only part of you could come into this incarnation. And then other parts of you fractured off all around. They splintered off and they became your emotions. They became the trees in your yard, your children, your brothers, your sisters, the cells that make up your ear. They became all different parts of you, right? So what's happening right now is we are in the process of, some people are calling it the ascension, the shift, whatever you want to call it. We're changing. We're becoming more aware of our light selves. So all these parts of you have to come in and come back to the puzzle. They're all parts. They are all parts of the puzzle. And you still have gaps where they're missing. So here comes loneliness. It's part of the puzzle and it just wants to fit right in where it's supposed to. But if you're fighting it and I got to deal with it and it can't come in. They're just trying to all come home. All these emotions, all these past aspects of you. And this can also be, Valentino, from the karma and all of that from past lives. These are emotions that are from past lives, from future lives even, from all over. They're just coming in. They're coming home. And so your job, if they trigger you, okay, triggering means that something causes you to engage with it. Now, you may had a flighty little feeling of, oh, I don't want to do the dishes. And then you got distracted. That's nothing. Okay. That's just irritation with the dishes. Okay. That's nothing. But if you're feeling depression, you're feeling lonely, something that's got your attention and you're engaged, sit down and say, okay, depression, go. What are we depressed about today? And let depression have its say. And your job is never to fix. Do not fix. Don't say, yeah, but. Your job is simply to go, okay, I'm listening. Anything else? Okay. And you're going to be surprised, depression comes with fear and usually worry comes in there too. And now you got a party. And so you let them all have their say. And your job is simply to listen. And you're going to be amazed because through your listening, a lot of times, okay, so let's say Lonely's there. And you're like, okay, Lonely, I'm listening. And now Lonely goes, no, I don't got anything to say, and runs away. And now you feel fine. That happens a lot. All they want is your acknowledgement that they exist, not to be fixed, not to be removed, or what do we say? Like with anger, move beyond. None of that, not to move beyond, just to see that they exist. Happy comes around and we're like, oh. Anger comes around and we're like, ooh. So these are all your children. These are all aspects of you. And you want to treat them like your children. And that's you going, I hear you. I hear you. And don't try so hard. Stop trying. This is one of our biggest problems. We try. Don't try. Just allow. Say, oh, there's Lonely. Okay. Hi, Lonely. And now you're not lonely anymore because now you and Lonely are hanging out and you guys can't be lonely because you got each other. So let me know that helped. I understand that battle. The loneliness you perceive is you. That's definitely you. And so when you let yourself step into your godhood, which is which is the God that created Lonely, that remember, it's a part of you. When you let yourself, step back and not engage with Lonely, not be like, I know we're lonely, and just sit there and go, okay, I hear you. I understand. I'm listening. That's the most important thing. You could say to even a physical friend who, like, maybe a friend's dog died or anything. the most important thing you could say is, I'm listening. Because that's all they want. They don't want you to fix them. They don't want you to make them feel better. They just want your ear. So I just did a video recently, and I was talking about how if, anger or sad Kristen's on the floor having a snit and just upset, I'll get down onto the floor with her and I will sit down there and say, okay, I'm listening. Go, girl, go. And I'll stay there as long as I need be. Honestly, what happens is just through you going, I'm listening, it just lightens. The whole thing evolves up to the next level. All those emotions just come in and become part of the light being you are. And now they're not these separate emotions anymore. They're back to being the light. Light as in no weight, and light as in illumination. Nice. All right. Any other questions? And let me know if anything I said didn't quite hit home for you, or you want to elaborate any more on that. These are great questions. They're really great questions because, what I was saying to Edgar about how everything is coming home to be ascended. And, you'll hear people say, oh, you can't ascend until all your parts have been ascended. And that's too much pressure. You just live every day. Don't try so hard. Don't take everything so seriously. Stop taking everything so seriously. That's Archangel Michael. They're big on that one. Stop taking everything so seriously. Just allow yourself to have this experience. We always say, you're a god having a human experience, and that makes you a super person, right? That earlier today I was wearing my Superwoman shirt, and you are amazing, and you're starting to remember that. That's why things are starting to get churned up. Is your channeling the same as telepathy? You could say that. I'm even moving away. I just did a video recently about labels and about how labels are bugging me because, again, there's that separation thing. There we are again with separation, and my channeling has changed. It was very interesting. I've kind of come full circle around. Back in 2012, when I realized that I was able to hear spirit guides and angelics and all of them, and what I'm hearing is I kind of can hear what they're thinking, if that's the best term I can come to it. And through that, I wanted to start channeling. And so I started channeling. And after I started channeling, I wanted to be able to channel other entities and beings. And I started doing that. And then after that, I decided that I wanted to know more of my light self. I wanted to know more of the God in me. I wanted to let that come through. And so that's where I'm at. I'm come full circle back around. And so whether it's psychic, telepathy, mediumship, they all have their, yes, we can as human beings make the separation of what each specific thing is. But you are, Valentino, you channel every single day. You make a word, you're channeling. You are always channeling. Your brain is not capable of original thought. It is not. Where do these words you say come from? Where do these thoughts, these ideas come from? They come from, you can say your higher self, inner being, source, whatever you want to say. It comes from your higher, I'm going to say higher self. It comes from your higher self. And so you're channeling your higher self. You're channeling your source in order to talk, for me to answer these questions, for the synchronicity of me saying Q&A and Kelly going, maybe we should do Q&A. And Kelly and I haven't talked face to face in months. That you could call that telepathy. You can call that if you want. I just see it as that's the way it is. That's who we are. We are so interconnected. We are so amazing that we're just starting to realize our powers, our abilities. I don't know how many of you might be getting a synchronicity with numbers. You might be seeing, the number 11 everywhere. Every time you see that, know that that's you, because you acknowledged it. Now you're pulling it to you, but also that's your guides. That's the higher aspects of you going, whatever you were just thinking, good job. So you have all sorts of stuff. So understand any of you that are artists, or if you're a chef, or if you write books, or you like to work in your garden, those are all beautifully pure forms of channeling. That's all channeling. And anytime, so you are channeling all the time. It's just nobody ever told you this. Nobody ever explained this to you when we were little. We think of channeling as going into this and breathing for like 45 minutes before one little word erupts out. And, we have all these expectations of what channeling is and what telepathy is. And I'm here to blow all those expectations out of the water. It is whatever you deem it to be, because you are the God of this reality. And it is all, I'm starting to kind of turn all my whys or hows into just I am. So if I'm saying I'm channeling, I am channeling as in it is me. Or telepathy, I am telepathy. Or anger, I am anger. I might be angry, but I'm also anger. I am it. There is no separation between me and it. I am that homeless guy sitting in the gutter. I am everything. And so start feeling the strength in that. And when you allow things to happen, you really start feeling how, I was just telling Edgar to sit down, kind of separate himself from lonely and himself. But that's going to lead into I am. Right now, Edgar needs to not engage. He needs to make a separation. But the next step after that is knowing that everything is you, because you are source, and source is everything. We go back to the original thing I said in the beginning. So that was a good question. These are all great questions. Having so much fun. Edgar, I like allowing and loving me. Numbers, yes. All day. Our dragon is the higher us. I'm trying to think of how best to answer the question. I'm letting them talk right now. I don't like the word higher, but I know what you mean. Your dragon aspect, it was very important in order to have this human experience where we felt our atheism from source. We were able to feel the deepest of depression and grieves and all of that. In order for us to feel that kind of weakness, we kind of feel like a little ant that's getting batted around by fate. In order for us to feel that, our dragon needed to be asleep. That's the easiest way to explain that. Because the dragon is the part of you that knows that that is not true. That knows that you have the power that creates worlds. That you are constantly creating your own world. Every time you look to the right and, okay, so you're staring at me right now. You have a lot of stuff in your periphery and forward. But the stuff that you perceive to be behind you that you don't see right now. So like in my image right there, I have a plant behind me. But let's say I don't have the camera going and I'm just working on the computer. I know a plant's behind me, but in all actuality, that plant is not there unless I'm seeing. So as I turn, I now, with my amazing creator abilities, pull energy in to create the image of a plant that I perceive to have always been there. Okay, it's kind of a bit of a mind. I won't say the word. I'll be good this time. I won't say the F word so much. Yeah, it's kind of a deep mind screw there. A lot of the things that you perceive to be your memory. So let's say when you were a kid, you were riding a bike. You perceive that you had a bike and it had a banana seat and maybe it had streamers or whatever. Is that memory you're having right now? Did that truly happen? Or now, are you remembering that now because I just suggested it? That's a big thing. And you're thinking, no, I remember it. I had all these things. Yeah, you're creating a lot of those memories right now. So your dragon is the part of you that knows all this, that really knows all this. This is why dragons were always seen as mystical and magical and Merlin and all of that, because they were very magical. They were the part of you that knew that you had powers, that you had strength, that you had creator abilities. And yes, anytime there's a part of you that feels like, okay, so let's say you're trying to lose weight And here you go on another diet. And you've been on a billion diets. And you're thinking, I just can't do this anymore. I can't. That's your dragon. You can't do this anymore because there's a part of you that knows that that is not necessary. There is a way to do this without the illusion of sacrifice and restricting how you eat and all of that. But this is all stuff we're moving into. Don't try and go there yet. We got enough to do without having to worry about all that. But those thoughts that come up, that think, do I really need to do this anymore? That's your dragon. Okay. Caitlin, hi. I'm feeling blocked in channeling my inner dragon, my passion and self-empowerment. Well said. In starting my acupuncture practice, any insights or suggestion? Yes, stop saying you're feeling blocked. Stop it. Because you just created that. Every time you say things like that, you're like, oh, and then you're giving attention to it, right? And you're thinking, but God, how do I stop giving attention to it? By thinking of something else. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do. Now, how do you do that? Because the more you try not to think about something, the more you're thinking of it, right? Right. Yeah, I know. Allow. Back to allowance here. Tell yourself, I allow myself to feel blocked. And now you're going to be really amazed because now that you allowed yourself to feel that way, instead of fighting against it, instead of trying to find a cure, a fix for it, it doesn't want to be fixed. It needs your acknowledgement it exists. So by just saying, okay, I am going to allow myself to have this experience of feeling frustration, of feeling like I can't get something done. Because when your acupuncture practice is going to take off, it's going to take off. And there's nothing you can do that is going to change that. Isn't that freeing? Isn't that nice to know? That source is on this, or your higher self, whatever you want to say. They're on this. But first, they want you to have these experiences of frustration, of how do I get from A to B? How do I do that? How do I do that? You do it by allowing what's happening in A. So right now, you have your desire. You have your desire for your acupuncture clinic. Great. The universe knows that. You don't need to do anything else now. You just need to sit back and relax and trust that everything that you are going to need to get the ball rolling, you will be inspired to do it at the right time. The number one way to make that happen, get the hell out of the way, girl. Get out of the way with all your thoughts and your worries and your concerns and your time frames and all of that. So hard to do, right? I know. I'm right there with you. So hard to do. But the minute you start allowing, the minute you hand over control to your higher self and say, all right, I'm allowing this. And it goes against everything we've been taught. I know. But this is about you following your joy. Is it joyful to be frustrated and to think that you're blocked and that you can't channel? And why isn't this coming to me? And I'm doing it. I'm standing on my head for 10 minutes and then I'm getting up and I'm doing 5 circles to the left. Why isn't it working? Because you're asking all those whys instead of just being, just allowing. It is so hard, but I'm here to tell you it is the magic thing that will make everything come your way. When you just take a deep breath and say, okay, I allow myself to feel frustrated. And all of a sudden, poof, you don't feel frustrated anymore. So now you're thinking, okay, now what do I do with myself? What do you feel like doing? You feel like going for a walk? Go for a walk. You feel like watching the X-Files? Watch the X-Files. You feel like going and playing in your yard? Go play in your yard. You feel like going and having an ice cream? Go have an ice cream. Go do what feels right. And you're thinking, this is ridiculous. How am I going to get my business going by eating an ice cream? Oh, Lord, if I could answer that question, I'd be a billionaire right now. I just know it works. I just know that when you are following your joy, when you are handing over the reins and saying, everything's always working out for me. I don't know how, but it does. I don't know how that little piece of paper fell into my lap. I don't care. I'm not going to ask how. I'm just going to say, thank you. That was so much fun. I don't know how the timing of all that money was perfect. I don't know how that worked. I just know that when I released that control and I released that worry and I said, I allow, it just everything falls into place, and it falls into place. And trust that, for those of you that have kids, Christmas is coming up, and you're giving your kid a present. Now, they're not scared that you're giving them something horrible. You're giving them malaria or something like that. They don't know what's in that box, but they know it's something good, and they can't wait to rip it open. Okay? Know that when you get out of the way with all your worries and your concerns and your fears and your lack and all of that, when you just say, I allow myself to feel what I'm feeling right now, because Source has asked for me to have this experience for Source. It is your honor as a God to do this for Source. So do it for Source. And know that through that allowance and through that knowing, oh my God, best present ever coming your way. And release the need for it to be an acupuncture practice. Let that be out there. It's already out there. You don't need to do that anymore. I want you to open up to the possibility that there may be something coming to you even better than that. Because that's what I'm feeling for you. I'm feeling that it may have something to do with acupuncture, but acupuncture is an old technique. It's an old way. And I know you're thinking, wait, that's what I know. That's what I've gone to school for. That's what I know. That's okay. It's okay. Relax. Something that may involve acupuncture, but even more, is trying to come your way. And you're going, acupuncture is you're kind of pigeonholing the situation. Just say, I allow whatever amazing thing is going to come my way, come. Because the universe is trying to bring us all this new stuff. But all we know is our past, right? We can only create from our past, or what we've read, what we know. When we go into the future, when we go into our nows right now, with our heart wide open and our mind wide open with I allow, you're allowing the universe to bring something to you that is going to blow you away. And you're going to go, oh my God, I never could have possibly thought of this in my wildest dreams. So let yourself be that open. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. And we all do this, and it's not our fault. It's what we're taught. You go to school, you suffer, and then you do this, and you suffer some more, and you worry and you fear, and then you die. And we're moving into a time where we're skipping all that happy horse shit. We're skipping all that part. And you guys are the light showers for this. You guys are the way showers for those coming behind us. And so it's like, you got to open up. And it's scary because, see, Caitlin, you have an identity right now, and your identity is this acupuncture. And who are you without that? Oh, that's scary as hell. This is part of who you are. And this is what, we have people who are in a relationship who are not happy, or in a job that aren't happy, but they stay in that relationship or that job that, even though it sucks, it's better than the unknown. And the unknown is, who are you without that relationship? We create an identity around these situations, these practices, these things we attach onto ourselves. I'm a channeler. I'm an intuitive. I'm a, motivational speaker. I'm a Reiki master. So we attach all these labels, but those labels are pigeonholing us, but we call them our identity. Well, there's a new you that's trying to come, that's trying to break through. But who are you? Don't know. You won't know until you take that leap of faith, that step into the void. And that means releasing all these labels and all these past knowings, and being willing to open your heart to the universe bringing something to you that, it's exciting and it's fun, and we have no idea what it is. The unknown with a capital U. Very big. Edgar, yay! Edgar, crying is, it's expansion. It is your consciousness expanding. So you've just heard something that has allowed your consciousness to expand. Laughing and crying are consciousness expansion. And that's why I can be a little goofy sometimes, because I love laughing. And it's awesome. You're making room. You're making room for all sorts of new stuff to happen right there, Edgar. So awesome. And that's another thing I want to tell you guys. If you're in a relationship or a job or a practice or whatever, that it's not your joy, but it's what I know. It's what I've put all my money into learning or whatever. You're always vibrating. And maybe this person that you're in the relationship is vibrating here and you're vibrating here. You guys just aren't vibrating together anymore. Okay. It's just not going to line up. And so what happens is a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, a lot of things going on there. And you got to be willing to, if that person needs to leave or you need to leave that job or whatever, understand that when you do, you're opening a space for something that is vibrating with you, that's vibrating at the same level you are. And your fear is just, again, who am I without this situation or this person? And that's okay. See that. But know that if that person can't stay or that job can't stay with you, it's not aligned with you. And it opens a space for something new to come in, something that is aligned with you and is going to take your consciousness going, and it's like rocket fuel for your consciousness. Awesome. All right, Janet, I have a question from a member on the phone. How do you deal with not enough in every area of life and a large amount of debt? That is a lot more than we can cover. Very big question there. Very common question. One of the biggest, commonest questions there. Yes. There's that allowing. And is that the hardest thing to do or what? Allowing the fact that, and you think you're allowing debt, but you're not. You're fighting it because you're talking about it and you're giving it attention and you're going, oh my God, look at all these bills. Oh my God, I've got all these bills. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to lose. Okay. And that's where you've got to stop, go into your right now. Right now, are you okay? Are you alive? Do you have a roof over your head? Are you okay? Are you breathing? Are you warm? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay right now. I had a guy the other day, one of my clients, who he was going through the exact same thing. He had quit his job and he was just in a panic, and we were having our big group meeting and he was crying to everybody because he had got the note on the door from the getting evicted and everything. And I had to ask him, I'm like, are you evicted right now? Are you still in your house? Yeah. Okay. Just in this now. Just stay in this now. Get out of worrying of the future. It doesn't exist. It hasn't happened yet. Stop creating that future. You've got to go into your right nows. And it's hard because we're so good. We're so good at worrying and we're so good at going, yeah, but. Stop it. Stop the yeah, buts. Go into your now. Right now, this second, right now. Are you okay? Yeah. You're okay. All right. Just stay there. And through you living in your nows, you're going to find this debt is going to change very quickly, but you've got to stay in your nows. And it's going to be very hard because I see you saying we. That means you've got another person in your life who's even compounding this worry about this debt. And so you've got to focus on you. And when that other person is going, why aren't you worried? Why aren't you? You're like, because I'm not. And you go back to your now. And you live in your now, and you got to dig in. You have got to dig in your now. And when you find yourself out of your now and back into your worry and stuff, okay, I allow that. I had that experience again. I'm going back to my now. And in my now, right now, I'm okay. I'm okay. Now, I could play the Abraham thing and say, oh, because you're focusing on your debt, you're bringing more debt to you. Happy horse shit there. Just stop with that, because that makes you go, oh, how do I stop? How do I stop worrying? Oh my God, I'm perceiving lack. How do I stop perceiving lack? Well, sure as hell ain't going to happen by thinking about it. And then you're trying not to think about it. So now you're thinking about it. And yeah, right. Oh my God. You can't go there. Okay. So where you're going to go is right now. Right now. I'm okay. Yes, I have a pile of paper. It's just a pile of paper with words on it. That's all it is. Don't worry about it. Just set it over there. Those debt collectors are not knocking on your door right now, are they? No. No. Even if your electricity goes off, which I'm sure in this now it's not, because you wouldn't be on here with us, you're okay. When you start living in your nows, all of a sudden, the miracles start happening. So this young man, totally freaking out. His girlfriend was leaving him. His landlord put the eviction notice on his door. He's freaking out. Had to keep him in his now. Came to 3 meetings, crying his eyes out, freaking out. But he was still okay. Still had his car, still had his clothes, still had food. He was okay. All of a sudden he comes on and he's like, oh, well, I had this guy came to me and is offering this job, but I don't know. And I'm like, what? You don't know? Wait, what? Well, he wants this. And I said, you know what? You asked the universe for help. The universe is bringing you help. Stop it. Just see what this is about. Ends up, this guy has an apartment that's empty, and he's letting my friend, I'm going to give him a name, Dave. He's letting Dave live there rent-free, and he's going to pay him $2,000 a month to be his personal trainer. There's his miracle. Just by staying in the now. Hardest thing to do, because like I said, you have been working out on worrying. You've been lifting those weights of worry and fear and concern and lack of money. I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have that. You've been lifting those weights. You've got the biggest muscles. Well done. Time to let those muscles atrophy now. You're going to stay in your now. You're going to dig in your now. And can you feel, all of you can do this right now. Can you feel how good the now feels? Everything's okay right here in the now. The now is your sanctuary from your worries and your fears and your lack. This is your place to go, okay, I'm all right. I'm okay. And then your very next step is what it is. But yeah, it's very peaceful, Edgar. I agree. That's a good place for you to go too. It's very, very, you truly, fear can't follow you into the now. You think it can, but it can't. The now is your sanctuary from all of those scary, scary things. So you let yourself go there and you realize, I'm okay. I'm all right. And then tell yourself, okay, I allow myself to have these feelings. I allow myself to feel scared. And the minute you allow, what happens is you suddenly start feeling Source's presence. That presence of love, that presence of joy, and fear and all of those emotions are able to now resonate in a place closer to love and joy. It is the most amazing thing to do when you just allow. You give yourself that permission. But it's really scary at first because, like I said before, we think, okay, well, if I allow myself to feel fear, and I say fear, okay, I allow you to be, now it's not going to go away. It's going to want to stay. No. It won't. I promise. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to change. And it's not to say that fear won't come back around, but it's going to be a different fear. It'll be a lighter fear, and it'll be easier and easier to allow. And it's just such a powerful way for you to feel Source's presence, for you to feel how Source is literally pressed right up against your face like this. Source is right there. And Source is there in your fear. And Source is in that lack, that illusion, and it is illusion. It is an illusion of all that debt. And it was an experience that Source needed to have for an expansion. And you said, I'll do it. I'll do it. You volunteered. You literally, as the God that you are, you said, it's my honor to do this for you, Source. And so now that you know all this, things are going to change. Things are going to change. They can't not change, okay? And one thing I want you guys to remember is everything I'm saying to you, this is your higher self saying it to you. That's the channeling. Because your higher self has been trying to tell you this. Your Source has been trying to tell you these answers, but you haven't been able to hear them. So they piggybacks in through me. And so if you hadn't asked these questions, I couldn't come up with these answers. This isn't something that I just know. Okay, this is you causing me to say these things. It's you causing me to create this peaceful. It's an illusion that I'm doing this for you. This is you doing this, guys. This is your dragon. This is how amazing you are. This is you giving you these. And, each one of you, we have 10 people in here. There are 10 different perceptions of what I'm saying. Some of you are hearing me say one thing. Some of you are perceiving something completely different. That's how amazing you are. So cool. All right. Well, it is 7:07. I think we did amazing. I can't hear you, Janet. Oh.
Let me unmute myself.
Okay, there you go. I like
that is hilarious. Oh, wow. Well, thank you is what I said in a very excited way. What I love about when you talk is there's always something that I can practice the next day. So last time you spoke, it was, I love that about me. And I said it all the time, and it made such a difference in my life. And so now we can practice allowing and seeing how that goes. And it's something so simple. I mean, sometimes it can be difficult to apply, but
I know it's like it can't be that easy.
Right. Oh, yeah. But yeah.
Charlize, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
It was wonderful. I agree.
Yes. Oh, great. So lots of wonderful messages coming in.
Oh, Nancy, yes. Let those tears go, girl. Remove that cotton wad out of your chest and go. Let it just flow. Just let it flow. Let it see it going up or down or whatever. Just let it go, girl.
Great. Well, thank you again, Kristen, and everybody for being here. How fun was this? I really enjoyed it.
See you guys on the next time around.
Yes. Yes. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Edgar. Bye, you guys.